3, 2, 1, boom! Broadcasting live from the center of the universe. Presenting the world's only business school without the BS. With optometrist and entrepreneur Dr. Robert Zellner and USSBA Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark. Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show on Talk Radio 1170.
Yes, sir. It's Z and Clay, broadcasting from the box in the 918. Business school and the topic today. Check the syllabus, it's getting you paid. I'm making the business boom, it's what we do. You can do it, let us show you. All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio and podcast download. For anybody listening from Portland, Oregon, hello and welcome to another fabulous edition of the Thrive Time Show. Today we're talking about creating a detailed proforma for quoting, a detailed proforma for your business. And so before we get into how to do this, I want to start with Marshall Morris, the co-author of the best-selling book, Start Here, which all the listeners can download for free at thrivetimeshow.com. Marshall, what is a proforma, and why does every business owner need to make a proforma?
Okay, so a proforma is a document that you're going to use as a budget. Use it as a proactive planning tool in order to get your numbers right, be proactive about your numbers, and basically structure how your business should run. And everybody needs one, because when you use a proforma, when you use a budget, it's like creating a dashboard. It's telling your money where to go rather than just recognizing where it went, or maybe using it like a rear view mirror. This is something that's typical that most accountants would provide for you to help set up a proactive business, like our show sponsor, Paul Hood of Hood CPAs.
Ooh, now I'll kind of explain a proforma like this. It's basically a projection of future financial performance based upon known variables. So, as an example, when I used to run a company called DJ Connection, I knew that it would cost me approximately. If we did a wedding for $600, I knew it would cost me approximately $50 to book the wedding. You might say, $50 to book the wedding? What do you mean? I mean, we would have to spend $50 on advertisement on average to get one booked wedding, one new show, $50. I also knew that after paying the sales commissions, paying the DJ, paying for equipment maintenance, and all of the costs, our total profit would be about $167 per event, $167 per event. So then when I thought about my financial goals, okay, my first financial goal was to make $100,000 a year. And for those of you listening, you might go, well, that's really a pretty weak goal. Well, good deal. I'm glad that you have defined my goals as being weak. And that's fine. But here's the deal. It took me about 6 years to get to that goal. And so I had to take $100,000 and I divide that by 167, and I'll do it right now. And that comes out to, let's see here. The key is you got to put it into the calculator correctly to get the right numbers.
Right. User error.
598 weddings is how many I had to do. I had to do 598 weddings per year to achieve my goals. Now, if you divide 598 by 52, typically there's 52 weeks in a year. I knew I needed to do 11 weddings per week to hit my goals. And so that was a huge thing when that happened. I remember when we hit 11 weddings per week, nobody else cared, but I did, because I was keeping score and I knew that I had to get to 11 weddings a week. And so I'm asking you right now, the listener, what number do you have to get to per week? What number do you have to get to per week just to break even? And what number do you have to get to per week to achieve your goals? And Chup, I think one of the reasons why business coaching clients struggle before they hire us, before we help them, is that they're not staying on top of their numbers. And so they don't stay on top of their numbers. They don't know their numbers. And ultimately, over time, they scale a fail.
Yeah, and I've been working with quite a few clients over this right now, kind of finding that per product profit, finding out what their average ticket price is over a multi-month long period, so you can have a good average of that. And the cool thing is, I've talked about this before on the show, but once you know some of these numbers, it gets really fun. Like, right. You know where you're going. You're driving on a highway with a map. You're not just out there freaking out every day. And so once you realize, like you just said, $167, all right, let's scale that. Let's multiply that out and see where we need to get our goals.
So here are the biggest issues I see with business owners out there as far as it relates to their numbers that I want to help you with right now. One is just not knowing your numbers. And if you don't know your numbers, reach out to your business coach and say, hey, I don't know my numbers. And you know what? If you do know your numbers, you're like in the top 10% of business owners.
Go you.
Because I'm telling you, sincerely, 90% of the clients that I've worked with, and I'm talking big business and small business, they do not know their numbers. The second biggest issue I see is that business owners are acting like a bank when they really shouldn't be.
Oh my gosh, say that again.
Business owners are acting like a bank when they really shouldn't be. So I'll give you an example. Today, if time allows, I'm going to go to Lowe's and I'm going to buy a fire extinguisher.
No way.
Another one?
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing I'm going to do. I'm trying to kind of make it a hot streak where once a week I'm going right now. For a while I was planting one tree every week, and I'll start that again soon. But I'm going to probably go there and get a fire extinguisher. Now I have a Lowe's card, and you might say, why do you have a Lowe's card? Because I like to buy things on my Lowe's card and then pay it off, and then buy it and pay it off.
Weird. No.
And it builds credit by doing that. So therefore, you're establishing, building credit. I like to buy things and pay it off, And so, but Lowe's, right? They're supplying me credit. But how big is Lowe's? They're pretty big, right? And if you look into Lowe's and you say, let's deep dive into Lowe's. So let's go to Guitar Center. Guitar Center. I love to buy things at Guitar Center. And if today goes well, I'm going to go buy some things at Guitar Center. I go every week to buy things at Guitar Center. And when I go in there, I'm kind of looking around going, what do they have that I need?
Lighting,
cables.
Enjoy,
I'll probably get some lighting or cables. It's just a fun place to
The
go.
sales team scrambles whenever they see you walk in.
So you go in there.
Red team, go!
And I have a Guitar Center card. Now you might say, why do you buy things on the Guitar Center card? Because again, I buy things, I pay it off, which continues to build credit. Now here's the thing about Guitar Center. Guitar Center's credit is not provided, Chup, by Guitar Center.
Right.
It's provided by Synchrony Bank. And you see the secret. If you go to a Hahn Appliance, I love to go to Hahn Appliance and buy things using my Hahn card, and I pay it off. And you know what? Their credit is provided by Synchrony.
And the key point of that is it's Synchrony Bank.
Synchrony Bank. And if you go to a local doctor's office and you want to get like cosmetic dentistry done or cosmetic surgery or some elective procedure, there's a thing called Care Credit.
Yep.
And it's a credit company. So a lot of business owners out there, you're acting like a bank, but you're not a bank. So we would highly recommend that you would establish relationships with third-party credit providers. So when your customer says, hey, can I get some, can I do some financing terms here for this home remodel project? You could say, absolutely. Why don't you apply here? And when they apply, then they're applying not to get credit from you, but from a third-party credit provider. So I'm going to give you an example. If you're installing pools like a swimming pool, so I'll put in swimming pool credit. I'm going to go and find the company. We'll put it on the show notes here. We have HFS Financial. Here we go. I see them coming. This is swimming pool and spa financing. Oh, I love these guys.
That's a niche right there.
That's a thing. I mean, there it is, HFS Financial. Let's do another one. Let's look for one more because this is helping somebody out there.
And here's the thing is with all of these different companies, there's still an application process. This is what I see business owners out there. They're going and allowing longer payment terms, extending credit themselves, and they may not recognize that they're extending credit, but whenever you go provide service without any type of payment form on file for them, that is exactly what you're doing. And if you do that without any kind of application process of how good is this business's credit, how likely are they to pay off what they owe me? If you don't do that process, then you're overextending yourself. You're going to run into cash flow problems. You don't have cash coming in, and that's a huge problem. And so, Clay, for the person that doesn't recognize their extending credit or how to stop this, if maybe historically, there's a business owner saying, oh my gosh, that's me. I've been doing this. How do you make the switch with all of the clients that maybe you've done this historically with?
Okay, here's what you're going to do, and I'm going to give you a lot of action items here. If you are listening at home, I want you to take a lot of notes. We are going to put these on the show notes, though. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you'll be able to click on the podcast button, you will find all of these show notes, okay? So step number one is you need to stop acting like a bank unless you are a bank. So if you are not a bank, what you want to do moving forward is you want to establish a relationship with a third-party credit provider today. And this week, get it done. That way when somebody says to you, I would like to get credit, you say, no problem. If you'll apply right here on my iPad, bring the iPad with you to the meeting with the client and say, go ahead and apply here right now, and then we'll see what you approve for. If you go to Mathis Brothers Furniture, they do that. If you go to almost any, Best Buy does this. I mean, that's what you do. Then when the person gets denied or accepted, right there you go, okay, looks like you're approved up to $21,000. Let's make it happen. Oh, looks like you're denied. So we're going to have to go ahead and not be able to do it today.
I want to cut in here because I've had conversations before where people have said, yeah, but if they get denied the credit, then I can't sell them the deal.
When they shouldn't have the deal, they get denied.
Exactly.
If these major companies are shutting them down,
right, then
you definitely should not be approving that person. You definitely don't want to work with them. You're not going to get paid.
That's the point.
Now, the next step you want to do is if you're a company that doesn't want to get third-party credit, you just want to charge deposits like a retainer up front. So with the DJ business, the typical wedding that I booked was about $600, and we required a deposit of $250. So $250 down, $250 is paid up front, and the remaining $350 is not due until the day of the wedding. That allowed us to have good cash flow, good income, consistency of income. It allowed the customer to pay for it over time. And we had collateral because we weren't going to DJ your wedding until you had paid. So that's a move.
And what are the expenses that came out of that $250? Because this will help you identify how big of a deposit you need to charge. But what are the expenses that immediately come out once you book a deal?
Well,
what are some of those things?
I had to make sure that we were able to pay for the ongoing advertisement because it was definitely $50 a wedding. It was like 57, I think it was, like 56, 57. I can't remember. I don't have it in front of me. It was years ago. But, I mean, we were doing a lot of advertising in Yellow Pages and bridal shows and starting to advertise online back in the day, doing a lot of magazines, a lot of print pieces, a lot of mailers. And it came out to $50 per wedding in advertising. Plus, we had to pay the sales guys.
That's what I was going to ask. Did you pay them with a deposit?
Yeah, I paid the sales guys up front whenever we got the deposit.
So there's no looming
I had the commissions paid up front. I had the advertising. I also had the ongoing cost of the lease of the office, our expenses. I just want to give you a notable quotable from Bill Gates. This is the co-founder of Microsoft. Microsoft, I feel like that's familiar. Yeah, we know Windows. He says, knowing your numbers is a fundamental precept of business. And I'm saying to you, as the velocity of the money increases, the numbers have to be tight. If you don't nail it and then you scale it, you will fail it. You might impale it.
Oh, no.
You might derail it. You might you might be living in a van down, kind of right there by the Thrive offices in a van down by the river. It's a nice
beachfront property,
but you probably wouldn't want to live there. But another notable quotable I want to give to you, and then we'll talk about this when we come back from the break, is Benjamin Franklin. Shep, can you read us the Benjamin Franklin notable quotable that the Thrive Nation needs to put into their minds?
So Benjamin Franklin says, beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship.
And Benjamin Franklin's the guy who helped finance the Revolutionary War. He's a guy who started his own invention business. He invented the Franklin stove, the bifocals. He ran a large newspaper. He knew a little thing about managing money. So again, beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. Stay tuned. It's the Thrive Time Show on your radio. I remember my days back in the dorm room, tuned to the gloom like the temple of doom, overwhelmed with the doubts that try to consume my hope for the future that I could pursue. But from the mountain